Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of A Bittersweet Life, a Korean action drama from 2005 that was directed by Kim Ji-woon and stars Lee Byung-hun, Shin Min-ah, and Hwang Jung-min. So our protagonist, played by Lee Byung-hun, is a high-ranking enforcer and a loyal subordinate of a crime boss named Kang. Now, the two share concerns over business tensions with Baek, played by Hwang Jung-min, a son from a rival family. Previously, our protagonist had beaten up Baek's men for overstaying their welcome at their nightclub. Now, Kang, preparing to leave on a business trip, assigns our protagonist to shadow his young mistress, played by Shin Min-ah, whom he fears is having an affair with another man. So Kim Ji-woon has a very nice style to his films, as a lot of you already know, and A Bittersweet Life is another great example of this. The opening scene is pretty cool. It has a nice music beat to it, as the lead character walks through like a restaurant, a hotel, and a dance club area, to eventually respond to some troublemakers. It's a great start to the flick. And I can already relate to this protagonist because he enjoys eating rich chocolate desserts, followed by espresso shots. So yes, this man has good taste. Now this character is very by the book and proficient in his duties. You know, he dots every I, crosses every T, that type of thing. So much so that his gangster businessman boss entrusts him with things that no one else knows or can handle. And in this case, as I mentioned, it's a beautiful young woman that the old man is romancing. And Lee Byung-hun's character must tail her and follow her. And if he confirms that she's sleeping with another man, he's ordered to murder her and her boyfriend. Now, the opening half of this movie basically consists primarily of these, this monitoring of this woman, which is supplemented with a look into our protagonist's own loner lifestyle. This guy's kind of a loner. You know, he's a good-looking dude. He's good at his job, but you know, he's a bit of a loner for sure. And we also see this escalating side conflict with Hwang Jung-min's gangster character on top of this guy tailing the boss's girlfriend. And while watching the film, one of the things you'll notice almost immediately is that our protagonist does have a little bit of an attitude problem. Even though he's really proficient at his job, whenever he's faced with conflict, especially from outside people, he doesn't really rectify it in a good way. So there are times where all he has to do is apologize to someone, and the conflict will dissipate a bit. But he just refuses to do so. He's real hard-headed. You know, I mean, I understand in some cases, you know, it might not be your fault, but if it's good business sense, just apologize and move on, right? But he doesn't do this, and the conflict escalates. And yeah, I mean, really, at the beginning of the film, his force of beating up these dudes was justified. They weren't leaving at close time. So, and they stepped up to him, and he took care of business. But, you know, if he just apologized, things would settle down a bit. But, of course, he refuses. Now, there is some interesting character stuff going on in this film. Both with, you know, I mean, some people classify this, I remember back in the day when I first saw it, some people on message boards were considering this to be kind of more style over substance. But as I've rewatched it many times over the years, I do think there's some good character stuff that's going on in this film. There's enough to chew on as you're watching it, so it does have a little bit of meat to it. It does have a little bit of a slower pace during the opening half hour. You know what I mean? And but again, it's interesting. This boss Kang says at one point, you know, you could do 100 things right, but one mistake can destroy everything. And that's true in real life. And A Bittersweet Life kind of drives this point home when the action and the conflicts kind of explode near the midpoint. You know, you get some exciting and intense brawls and shootouts that make this one of the more entertaining action dramas from the 2000s. Hint, flaming 2x4s. And it does get violent, but not gratuitously so that's good. You know, this is not a balls-to-the-wall action flick, but there's enough good quality action during the second half to satisfy the viewer. There are also some amusing scenes in this, the drunk party dudes who are road raging on the streets, but they get more than what they bargained for. I like that scene. There's a blackly humorous scene with a gun dealer later on as well. And Hwang Jung-min has an amusing supporting role as the temperamental gangster, like a rival to our lead. This was early in his career, but he was already making an impression. All of the performances are good in this film, as you might expect. So, really, overall, A Bittersweet Life is just another Korean film from the 2000s that's a must-watch. It was really nice to kind of rewatch this on Blu-ray for the first time. It's the first time that I watched this on Blu-ray, because I originally had kind of a crappy DVD from back in the day. There's a Bud Blue all-region Blu-ray that's still floating around out there, especially on eBay. There's a booklet in that release. It's a very good release. And one of the write-ups was actually written by Corey, who I've collaborated with many times in the past, formerly Pieces of Work. So if you want something with his contributions, there's a nice little essay in there, 2-page essay with his writing in it, basically his review of the film. So I'll be showing you that pickup at some point when I do my next Blu-ray update video. But that release is on the expensive side. You'll probably have to pay around $50 to get it. But if you want to treat yourself to what is likely the best physical release of this film, definitely get that version. So yes, Bittersweet Life. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already. And as always, we will see you next time.